Welcome back, guys. My name is Dimitri Sebastian.
And I'm Wes Kendall.
And we are back in session where your fitness and lifestyle questions are answered and bro science is put to the test. It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a bit.
Welcome back, guys.
We took a hiatus. Mostly I did, because Wes is actually consistent, as you can tell by his shoulders and upper chest. But
Thank you.
It was good. I think I needed to take a step back and kind of get some time, and then because I wanted to come back and bring like full energy to everything, so that we could get good stuff coming.
Pause.
Yeah, exactly. But it is good to be back.
We take tactical pauses.
We do take tactical pauses, and it was fun. Today we were even having kind of like we've been working out more again, kind of like Sundays and stuff, and we had I have my new how to lose fat process, and it's like, okay, cool. So you're gonna like the first step is stop that. Just if in general, like whatever you know what I'm talking about.
Just stop the bullshit.
Just stop that. Okay, You're about to do donut. Stop that.
Yeah.
You're about to like, I'm gonna go drink a bunch. I should stop that. Second step is try to make sure you stick around with your local sadist. You are my current. That's damage. And then we learned about polar plunges or ice plunges, ice baths.
Yes, we did. That was an interesting experience. It's the first time I'd done that in a while.
God awful.
What do you think? Is it more of a mental strength thing, or is it more of like, do you think there's other benefits besides like just doing something tough?
So I've read online that there's all these benefits and everything. Of course, everything has benefits. But I have to say it's a mental toughness thing now, because we came out of it. You did 4 minutes, I did 2, and your feet hurt. You get in there, you're immediately like having hyperventilating, trying to control your breath. Your extremities start to hurt, and then around like the minute to a minute 30 mark is when you kind of everything starts making a little more sense all of a sudden. And I would say that you get out and then you feel like these awesome like kind of like tingles because the blood's going back in your capillaries.
Yeah.
But my back is tighter now than I was before, and I am still actually a little cold.
Yeah.
To this point, which is like an hour ago.
We went in the sauna after too, so.
Yeah, we went to the sauna. It helped, but I would say in my professional opinion, I think it's great in a way of like you should do hard things.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it actually does anything. Maybe from like, because if you do ice bath for like your knee or something, it's like that inflammation, that would make sense. But just for a healthy body, I don't know.
Yeah, my ankles are a little less sore, but I don't know if that's from just it getting more recovered or like the ice bath.
What about like your shoulder? Because your shoulder's like a point of inflammation for you. Like, does it?
It feels all right, but nothing like amazing.
Yeah, so I would say everyone should try it because it is hilarious.
It's definitely mentally challenging. That's for sure, and you do feel like pretty like energized after, right?
Yeah, well, once you get out, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then once you regain your heat, you're ready to take a nap.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was kind of looking for something to happen almost. Like I thought I was going to come out of it and be like, we had our workout and it's like, we're going to do the ice bath, we're going to do the sauna, and then I'm going to be like ready to work out again. Yeah. That is not what happened.
Maybe it takes more time to doing it to get that.
Maybe.
Like, it's like yoga, like you do one yoga class, you're not like, oh my God, I'm so zen. You're just like.
I've heard it's good for blood flow, like doing it periodically. Like, I mean, that's like what I don't know, like Sweden or whatever, where they hit each other with branches and stuff while they do it. But apparently it's good for blood flow. I don't know, but it was.
They hit him with branches. So.
Well, no, I don't know. Like Ukraine, Russia, something. There's like you could Google it.
Okay.
I did. You do not come here for the facts on this side of the table. Facts are over there.
You should have a fact line.
I saw it on like Anthony Bourdain once.
Okay.
I mean that's how we're kind of starting the year. We're starting the year. I'm super. I feel like it's been a good start. I feel like we're kind of getting abs stuff. I'm 10 pounds down, and like numbers are all up in like all of my lifting. And for those of you who've been hanging out, you know that I've been figuring it out. But it's my stop that method has been working really awesome, and just being super consistent, and then just trying these new things like these freaking polar plunges and all this stuff. It's just like keeping things like super interesting. It's probably, and then we did. You've been actually, I don't know if you're coming up with them yourself or learning from other people with all these weird workouts and stuff.
Well, I don't come up with anything myself. I feel like I learn everything.
No original ideas here.
Well, I've been doing a lot more training on like isolating muscle groups and using like direct current therapy, which if you watch our social media, you can get some eyes on. But it's something that I'm excited to start offering to my clients in one-on-one sessions. So
let me tell you, if you have never had direct discomfort on your inner pecs, that like that weird line on your sternum, if you're saying to yourself like, no, when I bench, like it's outside, under, top, I'm sure you could probably find on your Instagram at some point. There's some really awesome things you can do that you're suddenly striking the center, and it's like, wait, this is a whole new thing, and it's like it's kind of exciting, and it's a very different pump.
Yeah, it's different. It's more like strict bodybuilding because it's like you're really just going after one muscle group, which is fun when you're, I guess, more advanced. So
exactly,
I like it.
Or even the reverse grip dumbbell. We now do it in a Smith machine, which was just worse for me. Better for my muscles, but it was hard. It was difficult. And these are the things we're going where it's new year, same us, but new things.
Yes. So
as individuals, we're great, but as learning, we're always developing. And speaking of learning, I mean, we're going to get right back into the questions, aren't we?
Yeah, we got, I know a lot of people have questions about their fitness, and, I get a lot of these in the gym on a regular basis. So I figured we can discuss some of them here. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll make sure we're going to have these. I'm going to start posting the question link on the Instagram. So if it comes to you at any given point, you guys can just post this up there, and we'll kind of create a roster for it. We always want to answer it if it's funny, if it's weird, if it's hopefully helpful. Yeah, I think that's always a benefit.
Questions this time because we didn't post a box.
I know Dylan didn't get a chance to.
There's no questions about balls or anything.
Exactly. I mean, you guys, this is what you come for.
Yeah.
All right. What's the first one we got?
Does carnitine work? Which I think they're referring to the amino acid carnitine, which can be used as a fat burner.
I was going to say, I don't even know what carnitine is.
It's commonly used in like pre-workouts and fat burners and stuff like that. It's a single amino acid. It is shown to, if in a super saturated level, your body will actually increase the amount of mitochondria in your cells.
And as we know, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes, yes. You better know that, or else.
I know. What could you do?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask a separate question. Does any fat burner that isn't an ECA stack or the original hydroxy cut actually work?
Well, it works at making you burn more when you're actually working out and exercising and cardio, but it doesn't just make you burn more fat sitting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so so it's not a core temp thing. It's the mitochondria. So we're talking like an ATP level. It's supposed to.
Yeah.
ATP is mitochondria is a powerhouse of cell. That's all you need to know. But
actually, it's not for ATP. So this ATP is used more in the phosphagen process. This is used more for beta oxidation, which is breaking down fat into fuel, which is why it's only specific to cardio type of exercise. Where cardio exercise is, because you're using oxygen as a buffer, you are able to go, slow enough to use fat, basically. So let's use more fat when you're doing cardio. The problem with it is a lot of people don't A, take it at the right dose, or B, take it long enough to make it work. So for example, if you're going to take the powder version in orally or the liquid version, you have to take 2 grams a day every day for 3 months before it even works, before it starts to work.
So okay, see, there's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Is I feel like the type of person that's interested in this type of product is like usually like let's be real, like the people who jump from like powder to powder, or the what's the hip, what's the new, like no, this is like you have to commit to this. This is a choice you're making.
Yeah, so like if you're trying to shred for your vacation in 4 weeks, you start taking carnitine, it's not even working by the time you take it.
So
by the time you go.
This is another thing where it's like, is this one of those things where if this is like a 1%er help, this is like you have 95% of everything perfect.
Yes.
And this is how you get to that like closer to 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which seems to always be the answer. It's like, yeah, this will help only if you're doing everything else right. Mm-hmm. There is, unfortunately, as we keep finding out there is no shortcut.
Yeah, we talk about this almost every episode.
Yeah, we talk about every single person we meet. It's always funny when I meet new people with you. They're kind of always, they toss out these concepts like, if I do this, if I use this, and you always bring up, it's like, yeah, I think it really just comes down to like food, water, sleep, and being consistent with your workouts. They're always like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that thing that I mentioned anyways. And you're like, oh, you can do that also. I mean, sure, do what you want.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's as I've learned in my stop that method, don't do that, is that you just got to keep don't doing that and doing the things you are supposed to every single day. And the other thing too is I think that a lot of people fluctuate on their goals and expectations. So like if you're saying this is going to take months potentially to be beneficial, Like you have to understand this is like something you throw in like your pill stack that you're Monday through Friday. And it's like, you just keep taking it, just forget about it. Like that's part of your life now.
What I do is before I leave for work every morning, I take a scoop. I dry scoop. Don't try this at home, kids.
This guy.
I dry scoop. It's a small ass scoop. It's like very tiny. So I dry scoop it, boom, and drink some water and then go to work. And every morning. And then, by the time I'm ready to cut, it's already in my system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, it works. Just maybe not in the way that someone would hope.
Yeah. Also, it got a false hype. It got false hype because a lot of bodybuilders don't tell you this, but they don't take it in a scoop, liquid or powder form. They inject it into their subcutaneous fat right before they do cardio, and that
with like a needle.
With a needle, yes, that's how they do it. They inject L-carnitine into their stomach before they do cardio, and then it gets in your system a lot quicker and more efficiently. So it's like that's where carnitine became, this hype fat burners, because bodybuilders were saying, I use carnitine to cut. I use carnitine. And then some regular person goes to GNC and buys it and they're like, this stuff barely works.
The amount of needles involved with the peak level of those athletes.
I'm telling you, I didn't know this, but some of these bodybuilders are sticking needles, multiple shots daily before their show.
That's so aggressive.
Not all year round, just before their show, multiple shots daily.
It makes the because they always talk about like the brain drain and like the stress of like being a competitor. Yeah, and it's like you think it's because like low calories too, but like think about it, you're pinning yourself, you're doing all these things. Like you'd be losing your mind. It's like I have like a 30-minute routine before I even get to start my freaking day, and I have to get. No one likes getting shots. I don't know anyone who's freaking like, I'm stoked to get a shot.
Yeah.
So don't do that. That's my recommendation. If you're at the top level, don't listen to me. But if you are in any way normal and just trying to get fit, like if someone says use a needle, just do the worst version and it's fine. You're fine.
So basically, does carnitine work? Kind of, but not in the way that you think or hope.
There you go. Like most things, you're going to be disappointed. Eat less, work out more, get your protein in.
Yeah.
Fun, weird. We keep coming back to that.
There it is.
What's our next one?
Should women take creatine?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. For several reasons. One, the bloat is a myth unless you're doing the old school loading, which is with sugar and 30 grams a day, which is psycho. Unless you like, peeing out of your butt into the toilet from bad digestion, then it's not a good idea.
We don't kink shame here.
Yes, harsh descriptions, I know. But basically, if you take creatine a reasonable way, which is 3 to 7 grams daily over a long period of time, then one, it's not going to bloat you. Two, if you need to go to the beach or do a show or a bikini thing, just stop taking it for a week.
You'll dry out.
You'll dry out what little water you're holding anyways. And three, if you're not eating very much red meat, then that's going to allow you to have a lot more of a natural creatine level in your body and give you more energy for your heavier leg days.
This is not new information. We've talked about this before. Creatine is, like we just said, it doesn't work, but the creatine is the one powder supplement besides protein, though I consider that more like food, that yes, it does work. It does what it does as prescribed. Again, it's not going to change your life, make anything crazy different. But I know many people, myself included, who didn't use creatine, were working out very consistently and then started using it for a sustained amount of time, and they did notice a difference in their ability to execute. It's not really going to make you buff or do this and the other, but it does allow, it almost opens up the highways.
Well, I think women and people who don't eat very much meat in general can benefit way more than someone who eats
I guess you're right.
regularly.
If you're a vegetarian or someone who doesn't like red meat.
If you're a vegetarian or vegan, then you probably benefit 5 times as much as someone who eats meat.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I'm guessing at that. That's not, don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that.
Basically, they're getting no creatine in their diet already, and then supplementing creatine is going to automatically have them, be able to push harder in the gym.
So and the bloat is, I think that's the main thing what people think. Also,
they're afraid of it.
Also, the kidneys. That's what people always want to say. The kidneys. And
the problem with that is they had a couple things that happened initially when creatine first came out, when people were taking it recklessly, and now we understand how it works and how little it actually does and how simple it is. It's just more of a vitamin, I would say, almost than like a hardcore muscle supplement.
Yeah, like if you got a daily vitamin.
Yeah, it's like taking B12 almost.
Yeah, so if you took a daily vitamin and you just crushed a whole bottle of it, God, I can't speak today.
Yeah.
A whole pill bottle, you would have negative side effects.
Yeah.
Same thing with creatine. If you overdo it, which I'm sure in the early days people were like,
they're taking
creatine,
30 grams a day,
which insane.
We're recommending 3 to 7 grams, 3 to 7.
Yeah,
which
that's
is like
dry.
a small ass scoop. You know?
Yeah, that's not a lot. So yeah, I would say creatine's for everybody. It's great. It does work.
I think it's more for people who aren't eating meat.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
And if you're early on and you're lifting and you're looking to like, oh, I've hit my first plateau, I don't think creatine is going to like launch you over that in any way. Like you're going to have to, I think your first plateau is a good place to like kind of reconnoiter, figure yourself out. But if you've been doing this a while, you have a sense for it, creatine, and if you haven't used it, especially if you're a woman, like check it out. Like it can do a lot for you.
Yeah, I think it's worth an option.
What do we got next?
What's a good protein? I'm going to simplify this.
Yeah, I'll say it's such a depends answer, but
I get this one a lot. And my favorite answer is the one that you can digest well and doesn't mess up your stomach.
The one that you like.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't mess you up.
Yeah, because it's like, it could be whey, it could be plant-based, it could be egg or beef even. Like there's a ton of different protein options out there, and I would say like find one that's not too crazy in calories, and then also that it doesn't make you have serious bathroom issues.
To give you context, I'll tell you about me. So chicken currently disgusts me. I've done it too much. I don't like eating chicken anymore, so it's not a good protein source for me.
Right.
The as far as protein powders go, the like full milk whey protein, it messes me up. I don't think I'm lactose intolerant, but if I have, just a cheap whey protein, I'm going to be in the bathroom all day. However, the isolate is amazing for me. So that's a good protein for me. So it's when he's saying that like what works best for you, what digests best for you, it's like it is shooter's choice. It is you. No one can tell you the right answer. There is no one size fits all. And if you can crush a ton of chicken and that gets you there, or you really like eggs or what have you, if that's what gets you to your number, then congratulations, you found it. So, assuming you don't like go way over on fats or something.
Yeah, I feel like, as long as, you aren't doing something unreasonable, you should.
Yeah, and back to the stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop that. Well, fried chicken has a lot. Stop that.
Yeah.
Don't. That's I'm gonna write a book.
You should.
I'm gonna write
your first book on counseling people.
One page. You open it. Stop that.
Instead of what's that one? Switch that.
Switch that. Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. And then my second book is gonna be how's that working for you? It's like I'm sad and all I do is eat and play video games. How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
Not good. Okay, now go back to my first book. Stop that.
I love that.
This is my new methodology. Welcome to it. It is born today.
You should do one of those square Joe Rogan memes.
Oh yes. Bad decisions make bad times, which lead to how's that working for you? Stop that. Good time.
Yes, exactly.
God, I love that. Yeah. So the protein question is always for us. It's an easy answer. I get why people ask it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It seems too simple.
Well, I think the guy at GNC hypes up the protein too much.
He's a salesman.
It's like you got the slow release, you got the fast release, you got the blend of 5
They've
different
got
types
ones
of
that are
protein.
like Tide Pods now.
Yeah. Oh, that's nuts. I didn't know that. Like you just drop it in your shaker.
It's actually kind of cool. But it's like a Tide Pod.
Sorry,
it drops into the liquid. When you shake it, dissolves and does that. It's like they're very expensive.
That's pretty cool, though.
But it's just like it's just protein. Like it's just protein. It's fine. Like just keep it moving.
Get one that doesn't fuck up your stomach. Boom.
Exactly. Like right now, like I go to Costco and I buy those.
You got the ISO 100 over there, I saw.
Yeah, I still have that. And then I have a desk drawer that is just stacked to the top with those like
the
square containers. I can't remember what the something pure
protein.
Yeah, pure protein. And it's just like stacked full of that because I drink like 2 of those a day at work instead of like, because people keep bringing freaking candy and stuff in. And it's like, stop that. Yeah. All of you.
You should have a sign near your desk.
So instead of doing that, I have my safety space. Yeah. But it's whatever works for you. Don't overthink it, and don't feel bad for overthinking it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
All right, here's one of the big ones. How does birth control and SSRIs affect fat loss?
That's 2 very good questions. Let's split it into 2 parts. Because start with birth control.
Okay.
The birth control can make you fat. It can happen for people. It depends.
Well, this is the issue. Well, there's two types of birth control. Usually, we're talking about hormonal birth control.
Yeah.
Right here. There's progesterone-based and estrogen-based birth control. Progesterone-based is a little bit friendlier to women for fat loss reasons because it's a natural hormone that they need to lose fat, which is progesterone. They make steroids out of progesterone, like muscle building steroids.
Get me on some birth control.
So I'm not saying that you're going to get, Arnold Schwarzenegger gains from that, but I'm just saying like it doesn't hurt you as much as the estrogen ones do. For the progesterone-based ones, when women stop taking it, they have huge rebounds, which causes a lot of fat gain. And then, of course, the estrogen-based ones, what happens is they don't produce enough progesterone, so they actually can gain fat because they're like low in progesterone.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like you said, when you're changing over, when you're dealing with it, and there's like a litany of things that can happen. Like the birth control is just so individual based. Like someone might say, "Oh yeah, this is perfect for me," and your body might reject it entirely. But to if it is something you really care about, your weight, what have you, and you maybe start a new birth control, start gaining weight very quickly or what have you, that might be something to consider if that's a priority for you.
It's not going to like automatically make you just gain fat or not lose fat. What will happen is it'll just slow the process of you, being able to lose fat because your metabolism won't, stay up to speed. It'll kind of diminish as you push harder. And then also it will make it a lot easier to put on fat. Not necessarily saying that you will put on fat, but if you were to overdo it, then
if you started eating like shit, then you'd be more. So like a good example, this is not, I don't take birth control, surprising. But my thyroid took a shit. For those of you that don't know, my thyroid is now useless. But for me, it was gaining weight and losing weight were a joke. It was no problem at all. And it was very sneaky how it happened because I was gaining a little bit of weight and I was like, it's no big deal. I'll just drop it when I'm ready to actually pay attention to stuff. It's really hard for me to lose weight now. It's not that I can't do it. It just takes a lot more focus and a lot more consistency. And same thing. So if you're on an estrogen-based birth control, it's great for you in every other way. Like you can still make things happen. It just might be a lot harder.
Right.
And it might be a discussion with your doctor. It might be a discussion with your trainer. It might just be a discussion with yourself. Do I like this birth control? Do I want to lose weight? Do I care about sweets?
I'm in no position to, propose any type of birth control on, birth control users.
That's probably for the best.
Yes. But from what I've heard, the best options would be like the non-hormonal ones, which I know have their own risks and issues.
Yeah.
So like definitely consider those because I really don't even understand that part. But I'm talking for fat loss. Those are considered better, but of course account for the other risks. And then also another one that was interesting was if you basically keep your birth control for a shorter period of time, and then when you're dieting, then stop your birth control is also a method that I've heard of.
I think it comes down to when you're talking to your doctor, if you bring up, because doctors don't know what you care about specifically. Right. If you went in there and you said, hey, I want to birth control, change for birth control, and you say like gaining weight is a thing I'm worried about and I don't want to happen, and they will help you accordingly.
Right.
So, SSRI is something we can probably speak to slightly better since we're non-majority. I don't take an SSRI, but I know a bunch of people that do, and I probably should. But depending on the day. But so it's interesting because it is another example of a medication that affects people vastly differently.
Right.
Because for a lot of people, it can create just general lethargy. It can create weight gain. It can create weight loss for some people. It can make things you don't want to eat as much.
They might not eat at all.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many of them, and there's so many things that can happen with it. And that's why for those of you who have taken it, those of you who don't know about it or are considering it, don't hesitate. Because there's so many different types that they might have you run through. Like I've seen people go through 4 types before they're like, oh, this is the one. And I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but there is a couple of the popular ones do have a high risk of causing you to gain weight. I wish I remembered it off the top of my head, but you just have to kind of understand that is, again, it's like if you are on a birth control, it's like if your thyroid sucks, you can still lose weight it's just going to be more complicated. And at the end of the day, your mental health is so important.
Yeah, if you're too sad to go to the gym, then you can't lose weight either.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, look, we want you at Earth. We want you to be happy. We want you to be successful. And I would rather you be somewhat chubby and happy and successful than like shredded and like you have no hope in life. That's like one of the biggest things. It's like, I know it's like, well, the SSRI might make me fat or make me, it's more difficult for me to get a hard on. And it's just like, yeah, you know what sucks more is like laying in bed and not like having a life. So like, just, it's cool. It's like, you know, it's okay to make concessions.
What's more important. Yeah.
Let's make some concessions.
From what I understand, the biggest thing I've seen is SSRIs cause people to store fat differently. I don't know how much it actually causes you to gain, but I've noticed that people store more like right here in the front of their belly and in their face from SSRIs.
Interesting.
Because it does affect like your hormones slightly.
Yeah.
You know? So that's one thing I've noticed is a lot of the medications cause that type of fat loss as opposed to sex characteristic fat loss, which is like for women, arms, boobs, and hips, and for men, lower back and, you know, hips and stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that it changes that because the people will actually have less fat than you would think on like their normal sex characteristic based fat deposits. For example, I've seen women with bellies kind of like a guy, but then like thinner legs. You know, it's supposed to be the other way around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. And it's, you know, it is what it is. You talk to your doctor and everything. And another thing to consider too is with those weight gain or redistributions, you know, like I said, you know, I have this situation now where weight loss is harder. You might have to not trust your general apps as much or like these like formulas like oh I'm supposed to my body weight is supposed to have 2,500, so that's for me they want me to having between 2,500 to 3,000 for my goals. Let me tell you how incorrect that is. I'm currently losing about a pound a week at 15,000 1,500. Yeah, 15,000. I wish. No, I don't. That's fucking, that would suck.
What are you, a baby killer whale?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so about at 1,500, that's having me lose 1 pound a week. That is actually like very low for my weight. Like I carry a lot of muscle and I weigh like 200 pounds. That is very low for a man of my age and weight and the amount of lifting I do. It is the vast majority of those calories come from protein though. So that's how I can maintain what I'm doing.
That's what it has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now have enough calories for anything else.
Exactly. So it's like when I eat carbs, I'm very, very choosy about it. It is a very, very choosy discussion.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, you just have to understand that it comes back to like, everyone wants a nice answer. Carnitine will make you skinny. Creatine's going to solve everything. There is the best protein. Like everyone has different situations. You might just have to eat less because of the meds you're on and like, look, like your health comes before everything.
Well, that's what I heard was that the SSRIs and the estrogen-based birth controls, they actually, your thyroid and your metabolism slightly down regulates. So you burn less calories than you would. Which, you know, if you're eating more and burning less, then you're going to gain fat.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just, it sucks. It sucks so much because you want to like go have fun with your friends or do this, any other, and like you have to moderate, and it sucks. It's a bummer, and
it's not fair,
it depends on what your goals are. It's like, do you want to be like a hardo? Then these are the things you have to do, and you know, as we know, dad bods are in. So maybe it's okay.
Yes,
it's okay. But what's the other question?
We got time for one more?
We got time for one more.
Okay. What's more important when you're lifting, weight or mind muscle connection?
So we talked about this. I like this question because this actually kind of came from me. We were at the gym.
I get this a lot too. You know,
yeah.
It's not just you. It's like, it's a common question.
Well, as you know, everything's about me.
Yes.
I feel like the answer is always going to be like a combination of both, but it almost becomes a question of like, what is mind muscle connection? What does that actually mean? So that there's like a context to what that means.
Okay, let's put it like this. I'll put some boundaries on this. As far as mind muscle connection, let's go with tension and focus on only the target muscle. So like, for example, those chest presses we did, you know, it was a cable chest press and we were stopping before the lockout, before the shoulders and triceps took off. That's what I can best use to describe mind muscle connection.
So we have an objective, we have a specific muscle group, and we do our best to ensure because I've talked about many times, my back likes to get involved in everything. It's like I have a strong back, so my back always shows up to be like, oh, we'll finish this out for you. It's like, that's weird. I don't know how you're planning on helping back, but that is an example of not having a good mind muscle connection. And
good. I like that.
Where weight becomes an issue is that connection, as you get more talented at lifting, as you get more successful as a lifter and you know what you're doing, the higher the weight you can get away with and not have to worry about your mind muscle connection because you're there, you're with it. But if you are exceeding your weight range that you can conduct, what your body will do, because your body wants to make you happy, it wants to do things that you ask it to do.
Right.
So that means that, okay, we're pushing weight that we can't handle. I'm going to start twisting or lifting my legs or doing things because your body thinks that it's fighting something. So we got to like bring more troops. We need more men to get this done. That's not what we're trying to do. So that means that the weight question becomes, you should probably back it off a little bit because you're not actually achieving your goal.
Right. You're right. So that you can't overdo one or the other, especially the weight. And I feel like that's easier to do when you're a beginner, but it's also risky that more experienced lifters with minor injuries or, not recovering from their workouts can develop what's called overcompensations in their muscles. So for example, your lower back is probably really strong because, army, deadlifts, powerlifting, all that stuff, so much that you feel it on everything because it overcompensates and takes over, when you should be using like your hamstrings or something like that.
Yep.
And it's not like you're telling your hamstrings not to work. It's just you've trained that connection with the lower back so much that it's a more dominant and stronger muscle.
It's where your body wants to go. It's old reliable.
Yeah, and it's protective too. It's protecting your back by doing that. It's not making your back more weak. It's making it stronger so you can handle more. But the problem is if you're trying to isolate and build like only your chest, if you have those overcompensations, then when you hit those failure reps, you stop using your chest. You start using other muscles.
The other thing about that that's interesting, I don't think we actually consider it often, is that some people have plateaus for the opposite reason. Yeah. So they're so concerned about having a mind-muscle connection that they actually limit themselves and their ability to grow. So they'll say like, you'll meet these people who it's a lot of times it's like older people, women, and then like anyone who doesn't do CrossFit. They'll basically be like really focused, really great pauses. Really, it's like, damn, like he really knows what he's doing. You can tell. But also, it feels like you've been here a long time, and it kind of feels like you're like could be bigger. And if that's their goal to be bigger, it's like, what are you doing to get stronger? Like, how are you going weight? It's like, well, no, it's not about the weight. You got to get that mind muscle connection.
Right.
No, dude, your body is used to that now.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's been your working set for 4 or 5 weeks.
Exactly. Now. That 20 pounder, your body thinks that that's a walk to the garage.
Yeah.
Like, so you've got to stress it out. You've got to like break some fibers.
Exactly.
And that might be something that most people don't consider because they're like, oh, well, that's a freaking champagne problem. No, it's real and it exists. And like, you might not have that for most things, but maybe it's like, for me, for a long time, I had back injury when I was younger. So it was like squats. I was really scared of them for a long time. So like I would refuse to do like heavy squats because I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just do like really good lightweight squats.
Right.
And then it was just, I never got to where I wanted to be with it. And then I had to start stepping out of that comfort zone. And then I started finding that I was getting more success.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you do have to push the envelope safely, of course, but where you can. And like, what I've said is you either do that with a good spotter or you do it on like a machine that you can safely stop.
Yes.
Like a Smith
is great.
Pin loaded.
We actually talked about that even today. We were like, I had like a freaking complete muscle failure and I was like, boop, and it was good. I was like, I didn't die. That's great. Yeah. So it's slow as smooth as fast. Just keep it going up, but also like watch yourself. It seems like we keep circling back to all things being balanced. It's just like, like a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah, you definitely need both and at different times.
Yeah, and I think the spotter is a big thing too. Yeah. Like having someone watch you, like that's one of the things that's nice about working out with you is that like, it's kind of like critiquing, calling each other out, like these moments where even it's like, I feel like I was like, I didn't push that at all. And like, trust me, like you were pushing on that. Like, hey, you're kind of leaning right on this. Like, okay, I can correct that. And that's how you avoid those compensations. That's how you avoid having those plateaus. And that the mind muscle connection I always talk about, like, you see like the people who are like doing curls and his buddy's poking his bicep, which is technically real. It's like, because it makes you focus on the bicep, but at the same time, you guys are kind of dorks. So
you don't need to do that.
Typewriter. It's like, this is your bicep. This is your bicep.
3, maybe 4 taps and you're good. That's it. That's all you really need.
Yeah, it's just like you're okay. You're gonna be okay. Yeah. I mean, like it's a very nuanced question. So that's kind of, you start getting to the advanced levels with that. It's like this is like you are now past the like, okay, I'm just moving my body. You are now to the level of like, I'm trying to speak to an individual point.
Yeah, it's a different. You might need different combinations of it at different times. Like for example, if you're a beginner, of course you need form that's safe and you're not going to hurt yourself. But then after that's accomplished, then you need to like fail under some heavy weight.
Yeah.
That's like kind of unreasonable over and over and over until you build up some overall strength. And then after you have a strong enough base to handle loads that are pretty heavy, then you need to go back to isolating and making those reps perfect. And then after that, go back to strength. And then you see what I mean? It's like endless.
One of the best pieces of advice this actually made mind muscle connection work. This is the thing that worked for me and it just struck me.
Yeah.
He said to me, what are you doing this for?
Yeah.
Before you sit down on your machine, your bench, you pick up your dumbbells, he's like, what are you doing this for? So when you're doing the workout, if you are not hitting what you're doing it for, if you're feeling it in a place that's not correct, like, why am I feeling this in my back? Why am I feeling this in my tricep? Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. And then you either walk the weight down or like kind of have a moment, think about what's going on here. And then once you start doing it, okay, you're hitting the right spot. There you go. You found your mind muscle connections. Your body loves you. It wants to take care of you and it thinks it knows better than you. So you have to be mindful of that. And as long as you know why you're there, what you're doing and what the purpose is, because like you can get a lot of weight for a long time doing things wrong. That's not what you want to do, though. That's not the objective.
Yes.
And I think that if you kind of stick to that, if you freaking get a great trainer like Wes, he'll watch you, he'll keep an eye on you. You'll be okay.
Survive.
You will survive. Is that all we got today?
Yep. Blew through all of them.
That was a good time. So we're glad to be back. I missed you. We missed you. Super fun stuff. Great stuff coming into this year. New Year's resolutions are bunk. Just be better right now. If you didn't set one at the beginning of the year, set one now. It doesn't have to be at the year. And you can find us on Instagram at BNS_radio. You can find us on all of your podcasting apps at Back in Session. You can find us on YouTube at BNS_radio. You can find me on Instagram at Dimitri Sebastian.
And I'm WKendall_MFT on Instagram. Click the link to sign up for training.
Boom, 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 boom.
Ring the bell. Subscribe.
Woo.
Yay.
Oh, damn, I'm stiff.